Howdy, folks. Welcome back. I am back. Alright, this is all devastation from that cyclone that hit India still from yesterday. And it really messed up that country pretty good. So, let's get on over here to our solar report. You can see we're here at December 6th of 2023. And I'm going to go ahead and start the loop here. And last night we left off with this double event up at the top, the first one, and then the second one with the two wakes, that one right there. And then you can see we've had other activity. This one over here. Okay, so we'll start at the beginning here and go frame by frame. Whoops, that's close enough. All right, there's the first opening frame. This is the one we reported on at the last night. Little spire coming out right here. You can see our event underway as it emerges. Takes a bunch of plasma with it. This is the little object, this round black object with its wake, with its double wake coming out right here. And let's just find the one image where it was probably clearest. Right there, I think. And just real quick, we'll kind of tint this a little bit. And you can make out our dark, round, spherical object right here. Let me zoom in just a tad bit more there. Alright, that's better. Now you can see our round spherical object right here, and you can make out there's a little brightness right in front of it. That's some plasma that's in front of it that it's pushing. But then as it emerges, you can see the two little tails already starting to come off of it, the wake coming off of this object right here. And then as I back out a little bit to use the instrument buttons, right there's probably, here, let me scooch it just a tad bit. Alright, so you saw our object right there. Let me tint this out, turn a little bit. And then you can see as it emerges, it leaves these double wakes in its path. Okay. We're going to continue on here. You can see this one down below here coming out. Okay, then we have another eruption coming off up here. Oh, blinked out, but you're back. We might have a few little bugs tonight. It's awful windy where I'm at right now. Make out a small black object right in here. This one leaving over here to the side. So we might have a few interruptions, if hopefully not. Anyways, as we continue on here, here's our next event right here. And let's back up a frame right there and zoom in on that. Okay, you can see our objects right here. And let me back up a frame. No, it's one more forward. Okay, there we go. Now you can see it nice and clear. Right here's our object. You can see the magnetic field around it that's, taking the plasma with it. So there's the object that induced this CME right here. Okay. And that was the very closing end of today, the 6th. That was the very last event of the 6th right there. And while we're here, let's go take a peek at tomorrow's data that's already available. A little sneak peek at tomorrow too as well. December 7th, the date. Oh, no images. All right, well, we'll come back to it later. So let's go back to this one though. All right, so there it is, the loop. One more time. Let it play there. You guys see everything that's going on around our sun. These objects inducing CMEs, leaving double wakes. All kinds of different activity right there on the sun for the 6th. out today. All right. Then we come over here to our space weather report. Scroll up here real quick and zoom in on our GOES X-ray. Alright, as you can see, it has been quite a bumpy day. Bumpy 2 days. Here's our box for today. Boom, boom, boom. All kinds of activity today. Even going into yesterday, ever since like right about here, the sun's been firing off. Boom, 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 boom. Multiple activities, multiple objects causing all this stuff as well. And then there's the little sneak peek right here that we just looked at. So let me zoom back out of this one for you a little bit there. All right. And then we'll continue on. Our X flare potential has jumped to 10%. M flare is up to 40 now. Okay. The two M flares we had were a 2.1 and a 2.3. This sunspot region 3511 is one to watch here. It's gone beta gamma, and we'll get into this sunspot here on the next instrument. Solar activity, moderate levels. Here's this M1 solar flare coming from that sunspot region right here. This is, here, let me open this one up. Okay, this is it right here. AR3513 up in this box right here, setting off an M flare. And when I go over to this other report, I got another aspect of this to show you. Okay, over here, their 3-day forecast is no geomagnetic storms. 0, going across there. So, all right, cool. The KP index slowly dropping off. That's good. That's good news. We don't need, a bunch of activity. Here we are at the auroras, and you can tell they're, pretty vibrant green right now, almost on the verge of yellow right in this little zone right in there, but not quite yet. Green, this is mild, so it still means that we are taking in some energy, okay? Not a bunch, but some. Okay, let's open up the tracker real quick for you guys. And did they update this yet? Nope. They didn't. It doesn't show anything coming our way, so I'm not even going to zoom in on it. All right, so let's get on over here now. And, all right, real quick, this is first I want to talk about. This birth of a new meteor shower. Come over here, read this little article. It's pretty good. What I want to focus on right here is a new source of flares. The new sunspot AR3513 is rapidly growing and crackling with M-class solar flares. The explosions will become geoeffective later this week. When the sunspot turns towards Earth, solar flares alert. Okay, now what I want you to take a peek at is this graph right here. And this is all of the solar flares that have come out of 3513, and it has just barely crested the limb, all right? So starting here, we had an M1, a C7, C5, C6, C8.6, M1.4, C6, C5, M2.1, C9.8, C4. All right, all of these have been from that one sunspot, 3513, that's rotating, that still has just barely crested the limb. I mean, it just came around from the limb, and it's already doing this. So when it gets Earth-facing, let's pray that it's not having a tantrum like this when it turns Earth-facing, all right? So a very dangerous sunspot to watch, especially pumping out all of this already. Okay, that's the main thing I wanted to show you is this 3513. Remember, we just had that last sunspot that fired off M98 at us and caused all this volcanic and earthquake activity that we're still enjoying to this moment. Not enjoying, but as a physical term, not a pleasure term. Above, the new sunspot AR-3513 has produced more than a dozen solar flares since it emerged on December 5th. We are going into December 7th, okay? It emerged on December 5th and has already produced more than a dozen solar flares, and it's not even the 7th yet, all right? Or it's about to turn the 7th. So very, very dangerous, very, very highly active sunspot region that we'll have to watch very carefully as it rotates around into our strike zone, okay? Let's come over here to the Schumann, if we can, Mr. Schumann. All right. And since we already got it halfway pulled up, or pulled forward, scooched in. All right, so there you go. You can see we've had another blast here. This was the one we were reporting on last night with this little seam down the middle. We had a little break, a little easing, and then boom, here's our next grinding session going on down below. Okay, so there's still pressure, so much that's causing the core shell to grind, and we're still having these grinding effects. When we came out of this, we came out pretty weak right here. You see this shadow area that's pretty weak right there? But then, just lately, in the last few hours, it started to come back to life a little bit. So we had a weakening right here, right after this big grinding event, all induced by the sun. All this inbound energy and how it affects our planet. And I bet you felt it. I saw someone in the chat said I felt it. Felt it. I was tortured by it. I mean, physically, it's, for me, my body, it's more than feeling it. It's being, physically brutalized by this stuff. So I know some of you guys are being affected by it. So hold on tight. Prayer is essential for this. Anyways, like I was commentating last night, these are frequencies going up and down. All these frequencies are in intensity, all right? So these very low frequencies, starting at 0, which is no frequency, going through 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, all the way up to 1 frequency, then 1.1, 1.2, all those extremely low frequencies between 1 and 2, and then all the way up through the 40s, right here at this line, were all very intense, okay? So your body's only used to having this one little minor hum right here at 7.83. That's what keeps everybody normal, well-balanced, and healthy, right? These things come along. It's like having, the bass that you have in your stereo can shake your windows in your car, and it shakes your car and everything. It's like having all those frequencies, even the low bass to the high range, super loud at 11, turned up past 10, like on Spinal Tap, turn it up to 11, and you blast all those frequencies all at once really loud, and it jolts your system. And that's what's happening to your body. Your body's reacting because of these jolts like this, all right? Let's come on over here now to the earthquake report. We gotta change this to this setting. I was doing a little research before the show. All right, so let's start off here. We haven't had any deep quakes in our deep quake region lately, but as we go into our system here, we have 5.0. So there's 5 energy at the surface level. Okay. Oh, I can see we have a brand new one right here. Anyways, back here we have a 5.0 at a depth of 10. Up here is at 5.1 at a depth of 168. All right, so this is a little bit deeper, but it's that 5 energy going up through the system. what do we have here? 5.0 here at Palau. Real quickly, I'll run this side, 4.5, so 5 to mid-range 4, going up this side here. Now we go to our main quake swarm area here. Let me just zoom into this. Now, it's a little more compact, not as spread out. There's not as many quakes, and the intensity has kind of diminished too. This recent quake that's sitting there, though, let's tap into it. It's a 5.2 at a depth of 52. There's another 5.4 right here at a depth of 24. A 5.1 at 61. A 5.2 at 66.6. Not good. A 5.4 at 20.4. And a 5.3 at 14.8. So we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mid-range 5s. And it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mid-range 4s to 5s. That was a 4.9 right there. 4.7. 4.9 again. So a couple of these are almost 5s. All right. So a little bit of 5 activity. Mid-range 4 to 5 activity here. Also, I want you to note we have 2 more quakes on the other plate. Okay. So let's take a peek at these. Yes, the other day when we had the big quake, there was a 7.0, or the day after it, there was a 7.0 over on this plate that kept showing up, disappearing, showing up, disappearing, had its own timestamp and everything, and it made me think that there might be earthquake activity on this other plate, and here we have it. Earthquake activity on the other plate. 4.6 at a depth of 10 and a 4.5 at a depth of 10. All right. While we're at this, I want to see. All right, that's all magnitudes. No, 2.5 plus since the event. All right. What I really want to kind of look at is these ones that are on the other plate. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, plus that 7.0 that disappeared. So there's activity going on the other plate on this boundary line right here. Okay, so not deep activity, but the activity is dying off. It's transferred over to the other plate a little bit. And if we go back now, boom. All right. You can see we've had a little bit of activity lately, though. Earlier, this was pretty quiet. We had 5 every hour or so. So the activity, the intensity has died down, and so has the magnitude. All right. That's good. All right. Let me kind of pull back a little bit. We already checked this quake over here. All right, nothing going on in this area. It's awfully quiet again, so I wouldn't be surprised to see some of this 5 energy sneak up in here into Taiwan and up in here into Japan. This is a 4.4. That's some of it, but there's still some more in the area. All right. Note how empty this has been for days now of earthquakes because of all the volcanic activity here on the Kamchatka Peninsula there. So really quiet around here. Coming over the hump, there's not much going on. No energy really to talk about coming into the Juan de Fuca, so it should be quiet around there. Here's a little quake, a 3.8 down at Los Banos, California. So they just had a little 3.8. There's a little shaking going on right now, but not too much. Here's another one to talk about right here at our 3-way junction point. This 6.8 probably helping some of these plates settle here, where these 3 plates meet. One's gonna be higher, and one's gonna have different pressure than the other than it did the day before. So it's kind of jostling and settling in right at this 3-way junction point, with a good 5.8 right there. So that's a good release of energy. It's not too much. Now way down here, this is one of your diverse quakes. A 4.9 down here at South Antarctica. Almost said Argentina because it's right here. All right, Antarctica though, it's the very tip of this right here. So we don't see many quakes down this low, and we have 4.9 energy being released down here at this part of the plate. It's usually always up here at the tip or at the three-way junction. It's very rare that we see it creep this far down towards the Antarctic peninsula there. Along the coast of southern or South America, we had a couple 4.2, 4.3, not much. Up here at the Cocos, so 4.7. Let's take a look. All right, you can see how this is all a plateau. This whole area right here is still a plateau with a cliff that drops down to this plate boundary, to this fault line at the ocean floor. It's a big canyon down in there. And you can see the edge of this cliff running right here. This quake is a little further in and a little deeper down underneath there, so that's good. We don't want to see a surface quake right on the edge here because it could cause an underwater landslide. And if you look, you can see right here this V-shaped slough area. There's been one in this region in previous history right there, okay? And it looks to be that there's maybe one over here too. So we got to watch out for quakes in this region, as long as it, especially ones that strike right on this cliff area, all right? But thankfully, that's a little deeper. Over here on this coast, inside the Gulf of Mexico, 4.2 over here in Mexico. All right, so a little bit of energy being released on both plates there, but it's toning down. Not as active. Nothing going on in Texas. Pretty quiet out there, except for our one little spot right here. Okay. Now this is one I want to talk about too. Let's go over here. Now, we have this 5.4 over here in Azerbaijan, and this is pretty recent. This happened maybe an hour or two ago. So, mid-range 5 energy being released in this area. Also down here on this little fault line, there's a 4.5 in the Gulf of Aden down here. Sorry. So 4.5 and a 5.4 up here. There's energy, mid-range 4 and 5 energy. Mid-range 4 to mid-range 5 energy in this area, so don't be surprised to see something like that around Italy, Greece, Northern Africa, transferring out here to the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, all right? Very quiet in that region, it's due. Very quiet up through here, it's due. We have everything kind of past this point is being relieved from these volcanoes, especially this new one. So we'll go over to the volcano report here in a second. Real quick, I just want to bring you to this image real quick here. Now, this is the polar vortex, all right? And let me just put the winds in there real quick, and we'll do a polar vortex report, and then we'll come back to what I was going to report on. Okay, so you can see how our polar vortex circling here has this split, and it's peeling off, and we have a double vortex going on. Well, the center of this double vortex is in the Gulf of Alaska. All right, so it's taking, let me get this just right. It's taking all this weather. The split used to be more over the center part of the country. Now the split is way over here by the East Coast, and it's taken everything, shoving it off the East Coast into the ocean, but everything else is circling back around and going backwards out into the ocean, circling back around and coming back into the vortex, all right? Now, over here, look how low the vortex has dropped. The polar vortex has dropped down to Saudi Arabia. You see this final little bowing down. It comes down here and then kind of goes back up. This lowest point right here is right above Saudi Arabia. All right. Now, that's pretty low for our polar vortex. But now look back here. Do you see Europe, France, Great Britain, all of Europe and all of Russia are in the strike zone. I put the wind back on there. So, this half of the world, just watch out for wild weather. Meanwhile, our country is being protected. Now, something else I wanted to show you. See this kind of jagged effect? There's different wind, currents and velocities or whatever as it makes this corner right there. But check this out. Let's go back over to, let me turn off the wind first. Let's go back over here to China. I want you to look at this. Doesn't that look like fire? Now, these are wind velocity readings, the whites being higher, the purple being, second higher. But doesn't that kind of look like fire with white smoke coming off of it? Just kind of odd how the coloration that's used in this, and this, it was looking even more intense before. Let me back up a little bit here. Where was that one frame? Well, I guess it's gone. But as I move it here, let me scooch it over. As we advance, it looks like fire burning. Over China. Now, this is just velocities and wind, okay? It's not a real fire, but the coloration and the way this... Here, let me put the winds back in, and you'll see that this is where they're taking a bend, too. You see, the winds are changing velocities and having to change direction real hard and turn and go in a different direction. But that turning and changing of velocity of wind in the coloration chart makes it look like fire. Pretty trippy. Another sign indicating something over China. Okay, that was over China. So watch out for stuff happening in China. I see stuff like this. I take that as a sign. And we saw all the pressures down below underneath China. In fact, maybe let's just switch over real quick to our chemicals and just do an SO2 report while we're here. And, ooh. This map has darkened. Oh yeah, it has darkened here in China. There's some spots right here and here and here that are black. Let's come on over to America real quick. I want to see what ours looks like. Ooh, ours is nice and light. It's fading. We still have this, but it's not as dark. It's not, half the country. Look at this. It's really lit up here in America a lot. While over here on this side of the planet, it's black as midnight. Well, probably because of the spirituality of that country. Anyways, we will continue on. Now let's get over here to our volcano report. And, yeah, this is it for the 6th. Yeah. Okay, starting right here, we have Iwo Jima still going. The explosive eruption at the new volcanic island resumes. It's still growing more island, all right? So Iwo Jima, still active volcano, all right? In red, active, building an island. All right, we still got Krakatoa. Explosive activity continues. The volcanic ash advisory still warning for 7,000 feet. Marapi, our other new volcano, following the massive explosion from the volcano on December 3rd, there have been confirmed 11 fatalities among 75 hikers in the area. But it's still continuing to do blasts. Dukono, explosive activity continues to 8,000 feet. Popo, explosive activity continues to 20,000 feet. Santa Guido, explosive activity continues to 14,000 feet. Fuego has a volcanic ash advisory. Nevada del Ruiz to explosive activity to 21,000 feet. Sangay has a volcanic ash advisory. Sabancaya still going off to 24,000 feet. Bizimani, Kamchakna, that's Bizimani on the Kamchakna, Ducono, Ebico, Arubis, Urda Ale, Etna, Iwo Jima, Krakatau, Luatolo, Marapi, Masaya. That looks new. In Nicaragua, a minor ashfall. Mayon, Merapi, Michael in the South Sandwich Islands, Nevada del Ruiz, Nicaragua, Popo, Reventador, Sabancaya, Sakarajima, Sangay, Santiaguito, Semeru, Chivaluge, Stromboli. This new one, Villarica, Yasur, that's new too. All of those exploded today. Those all erupted today. Currently erupting. All right, and there's other ones that are warning that could be going online here too. Bagana, Great Sitkin, Krangatang, Noshima, Nayamarigaria, Oldenario, Recondevalia. So Uluwun, that's the one that went off not too long ago with the most powerful explosion. So all have the potential of going active as well. All right. I had the map pulled up, but I don't know what I was going to use the map for. Lord, what were we going to do the volcano map with? And pull this over. I have a fully active volcano here in Africa too, and two in the orange here in Africa. We had this quake swarm here in the Gulf of Aden. We have an active volcano, Urda Ale, right here next to it. So, two active volcanoes in Africa. So, this region with all these active volcanoes, we've noticed a die off of earthquake activity in here with our latest one over here, Merapi, going online, and it's continuing to erupt. So it's continuing to release a lot of that pressure down below there, while we have earthquakes releasing pressure over here on this side. So earthquakes releasing pressure here, volcanoes releasing pressure over there, thus cutting off major earthquake activity up through this region, thus cutting off major earthquake activity going up through this region. So it's relieving pressure in the system right here and right here. Thankfully, it's doing that because we'd be seeing bigger quakes and other volcanic activity. Or if we hadn't seen any of this, we'd be seeing bigger quakes in the interior here and maybe even more volcanic activity. Whew. All right, so there's this one again, 5.4 up in Azerbaijan. What's going on up there? Is this in the water? Ooh, it is. There, you see this fault line running right down below here. There's almost another fault just north of it, running like right through here between these two seas. There used to be a waterway that connected these two. It looks like, yeah, it looks like water used to run down here and into this one. Let me get this out of the way. Pull this up for you. So probably in days when there was higher water levels, whatever ran off down into this sea as well. But it looks there might be some bridge line right there, so there is some kind of crustal push-up. So there's probably some fault line underneath there, and this little earthquake here is an indicator of stuff going on in this little mountain range. Oops. See this mountain range right here? Yeah. Right at the tip, right here where it meets the water. I believe there's a weak spot. Probably a little fault, a little lower down in the crust down in there. All right, so there's that. Let's open up the weather here. I got to close some of these out. Let me get rid of this. Get rid of that one. We'll keep the quake one up. We'll keep that one up. We can take that one down, that one down, that one down. Open up another one. Here we go. That way my computer doesn't crash and we don't have to close the show early. All right. Cool. Open up. There we go. So let me go ahead and loop playing right there. I'll let you guys take a look. No. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get this flipped around. The camera flipped around. There we go. And if we can get that off of there. Alright, there we go. Alright, hopefully you guys are back. I fixed the buffering, I think. Looks like we're back. 7x7. Alright. We're just going to go for it. Yep, 7x7. Alright. So, let's get to it here. I'll catch this once it starts the beginning of the loop again. Quite the storm that we got coming on. Alright. I think we're back again. Well, while we're here, we're just going to pick up with current conditions. The night of December 6th. Then, going to the morning of December 7th, we have this storm moving into the Pacific Northwest. That's the noontime. As it continues into the east, we have the end of convection December 7th with storm hitting the Pacific Northwest, snow in the upper elevations, and continuing into the nighttime of December 7th. See this big low wrapping up here, high winds coming up through here. Then the morning of December 8th, it kind of moves up into Canada. We go into the noontime. Now the end of convection December 8th. Here we go with this coming together at the nighttime of the 8th. We have a little bit of low pressure starting to form here with severe weather on the backside going into Missouri, they're saying. So the night of the 8th going into the morning of the 9th. Right, here it comes, the 9th. You see this all coming together. We go into the noontime of the 9th. Boom, there's the end of convection the 9th. Now this is separated. This has changed since we saw last time. And now it's more pulled apart. Let's pray that this continues and we don't have that big, huge patch of damaging weather right there. Then we get into the nighttime of the 9th. It does get severe back down in here again. Northern Mississippi, Tennessee, going up into Kentucky. Into the nighttime, into the morning time. So here's our nocturnal event going from the nighttime into the morning, reaching Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Ohio, Kentucky, up into Pennsylvania a little bit there. All right, so here's going to be your severe weather from the nighttime right there into the morning hours of the 10th. Then it kind of gets pulled apart here by the noontime, and then the end of convection when all the cloud tops have boiled to their highest point. It should be at their highest point. We got severe weather right in through here up into New York, coming off the Gulf into Florida as well. Then right here, this is at nighttime December 10th. We're gonna zoom in on this. This couldn't have like formed any better. Is striking right along the eastern seaboard at night, a nocturnal event. There could be embedded tornadoes all through here. Lots of hail, high wind, flash flooding, snow on the backside. Um, Let me push this a little bit forward here. We were way too close. You can even see there's icing up in there, in between the two air masses. So that's going to be quite the event. Lots of rain down here in Florida. Okay, the whole part of Florida will be covered there. Let me back up a frame here and walk you through this one more time. Boom, boom. All right, so from noontime, actually, from the nighttime, all right, it really starts back here at the end of convection, December 9th, as it intensifies at night. We have a nocturnal event on the 9th into the 10th going on right here with chance for tornadoes in there. A lot of the storm chasers are going to be tonight. So, then it intensifies into the morning to December 10th through that whole region, continuing to, through the noontime, even continuing through convection, and even into the nighttime of December 10th until it finally, look at this, the morning of December 11th. That's all offshore right there. Most of that is all offshore. But for anybody that's out in the ocean right there, I would get the hell out of there. And then that's the noontime of the 11th, the end of convection, and the nighttime as it moves offshore there. After that, not much going on. We do have that little thing dip into Canada up there. A lot of these still coming here to the west coast. Here, let me back up just a few. All right, yeah. Pretty clear until right here. This is December 15th, the noontime of December 15th, when we have this new front coming on to the Pacific Northwest. That's the end convection, the 15th, the nighttime, the morning of the 16th, noon, convection, nighttime, 17th, noon, convection, nighttime, 18th, noon, convection, nighttime, still up here, 18th, nighttime of the 18th. So moving in, or the end of convection, the 18th, again up here into Washington with heavy, heavy rain, severe weather again up there. Those people are going to be washed away. Time to get out of there. Well, the time to get out of there was a while ago, but right there, that's the nighttime of December 18th with severe weather on the west coast, or the Pacific Northwest. It moves into the Rockies, dissipates into the 19th. That's the morning of the 20th right there. Noon, convection, nighttime. The 21st, noon, convection, nighttime. 22nd, noon, convection, nighttime. And that's it. That was it for here. So this last little series is so far away that a lot's going to change between now and then. So let me just zoom that in one more time for you guys and let that loop play for a second while I get the reading ready. Alrighty. Actually, let me pull this in closer. All right. So let's we'll use this one. Boom. Yeah, crazy weather going off over there in India. They had that cyclone hit them. It dropped a bunch of tornadoes too, so. Okay, let's see here. Let's go into this one here for a minute. I'll let you watch that one for a second while I get other stuff ready. We need volume. Oh, not that volume. We need volume from this. about are not only taking place there, but now they're taking shape in our clouds. And with this new filter I was talking about, howdy folks, welcome back. So these faces that I've been showing you in the last few videos that are in the etherical or in that mosaic that I was talking about are not only taking place there, but now they're taking shape in our clouds. And with this new filter, I was able to go through some of these pictures, and it really makes them pop now. So if you can't see it yet, there's an eye here, here's the nose, a mouth down below, here's an ear coming back up, the jaw running down, little pointed chin. And this face seems to almost be bisected. One half is like a goblin, and this other half looks like almost like a Wolverine or a Ewok type character. So I'll let you look at that for a minute. And this was pretty faint in the original picture, but now with the filter, it really makes it pop. So hopefully you guys can see that now. And then I'm going to bring you some more. Just real quick here, I wanted to show you the unfiltered version. This is the original right here compared to this one right here, where you can make out a lot better. Okay, one more, and this one right here, you can make out we have an eye here and an eye right here. Here's the nose, and here's some lips. And it looks like he's blowing. You can make out his ear over here, horns and stuff coming up, his eyebrows. There we go. Now you can see a little bit better. An eye, the nose, the lips. Okay, so I wanted to show you that one with the filter, so you can see it turned out pretty good too. So, well, that's it for now. I love you all. Okay, so there's not only, angels and Mary and Jesus and stuff, but there's also demons and Satan and stuff. All right, so I don't really like to show that much, but it's important that you know that aspect is out there. It's not everybody goes to heaven. There's also demonic realm too. Okay, the spiritual realm has a demonic side to it as well. All right. Anyway, so back over here to our image. Get ready to do our reading. I would do the other one where he's pulling his shirt open, but that one's kind of hard to see. So we're just gonna work on this one for right now. All right. Now I need the light here. And now let's see, where did I have this going now? Oh. First of all, we got some notes. The prison scenario. Now, this thing goes like, imagine if there was a woman who gave birth to a baby in prison, right? And the baby has to stay with her. She can't give it up or give it away. The baby stays with her there in prison in her cell, all right? So as the baby gets older, it grows up in that environment, knowing that environment, right? And only that environment. The view out the cell window is the best view in the world because it's the only view that they've ever had. The meal that they serve in the mess hall is the best food in the world because you've never had anything better. That's the only food you've ever had. The walls that surround you don't feel like a prison. They're more for security to protect you from the outside world. So if you were born and raised inside of a prison and never knew freedom and never knew what was outside of that prison walls, you would think that was paradise. You wouldn't know any better, right? That's the same kind of principle that we're living in right now. We're like this baby that's been born inside of a prison, and we only know what we see with our five senses, right? That's all we know. The food here is the best we've ever had because it's all we've ever had. The views that we have here on this planet are so beautiful because you've never seen anything prettier or even more beautiful or stunning. So you conform to that scenario and you end up being closed-minded thinking that all there is life inside the prison. It's not until one day that you're finally set free and you go out into this new world that you've never experienced before, and there's all these new sights and sounds and all this new stuff that you missed out on that you never knew existed. You thought inside the prison walls was paradise because you didn't know anything that was better than that to compare it to. That's much like how we're living here on this earth, is inside that prison, not knowing that there's much better out there waiting for you. Okay? So I think that was the point that he wanted me to make. He was like, yeah, it reminded me of the prison scenario. He's like, yeah, imagine not knowing, the food, the view, how the walls wouldn't be, it wouldn't feel like a prison. It'd feel more like a home, you know. The security guards would be there for protection instead of holding you in. You wouldn't feel like a prisoner then, and it's that deceptive, being in that deceptive point or perspective, thinking that that's all that there is when there's much bigger and much grander out there. So look, look up, look forward, be open-minded. There's more out there than just meets the eye and your five senses, okay? There's much more out there than just this little prison planet that we're on, okay? All right. Anyway, so I think that was all I really was going at that point there. All right, here we go. Approach problems with a light touch. When your mind moves towards a problem area, you tend to focus on that situation so intensely that you lose sight of me. You pit yourself against the difficulty as if you had to conquer it immediately. Your mind gears up for battle and your body becomes tense and anxious. Unless you achieve total victory, you feel defeated. Well, there is a better way. When a problem starts to overshadow your thoughts, bring this matter to me. Talk with me about it and look at it in the light of my presence. This puts much needed space between you and your concerns, enabling you to see from my perspective. You will be surprised at the results. Sometimes you may even laugh at yourself for being so serious about something so insignificant. You will always face trouble in this life, but more importantly, you will always have me with you, helping you to handle whatever you encounter. Approach problems with a light touch by viewing them in my revealing light. As you look at the day before you, you see a twisted, complicated path with branches going off in all directions. You wonder how you can possibly find your way through that maze. Then you remember the one who is with you always, holding you by your right hand. You recall my promise to guide you with my counsel, and you begin to relax. As soon as you look again at the path ahead, you notice that a perfect fog has settled over it, obscuring your view. You can only see a few steps in front of you now, so turn your attention more fully to me and begin to enjoy my presence. The fog is a protection for you, calling you back into the present moment. Although I inhabit all of space and time, you can communicate with me only here and now. Someday the fog will no longer be necessary, for you will have learned to keep your focus on me and on the path just ahead of you. I want you to have no fear of bad news. The only way to accomplish this feat is to have a steadfast heart, trusting in me. There is an abundance of bad news in this world, but you don't need to be afraid of it. Instead, confidently rely on me, believe in me. Find encouragement in my sacrificial death on the cross and my miraculous resurrection. I, your living Savior, am Almighty God, and I am sovereign over global events. I am still in control. When things around you or in the world seem to be spinning out of control, come to me and pour out your heart. Instead of fretting and fuming, put your energy into praying. Come to me not only for comfort, but also for direction. I will help you find the way forward. Moreover, I take your prayers into account as I govern your planet in ways far, far beyond your understanding. Don't dread the bad news or let it spook you. Instead, keep your heart steadfast and calm through the confident trust in me. Ask me for wisdom. I know how much you need it. King Solomon requested a discerning heart, and he received wisdom in a magnificent abundance. This precious gift is also essential for you, especially when you're making plans and decisions. So come to me for what you need, and trust me to provide it in full measure. One aspect of wisdom is recognizing your need for help in all that you do. When your mind is sluggish, it's easy to forget about me and simply dive into your tasks and activities. But eventually you will bump into an obstacle. Then you face an important choice: to push ahead full throttle or to stop and ask me for my insight, understanding, and guidance. The closer you live, the closer to me you live, the more readily and frequently you will seek my help. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Though I am your friend, remember who I am, in my great power and glory. Godly fear, reverential awe, and worshipful admiration provides the best foundation for wisdom. Okay, so I hope a lot of that sunk in. I hope it pertained to, for some of you, what you're going through right now. And I hope it gives you strength and hope, in these tough times. The holidays is supposed to be a joyous season and occasion, but it can be very stressful and hard on people. And there's been a lot of people who've lost loved ones during the holidays, and those loved ones aren't around. And the holidays are hard for some people. So try to keep your head up. Keep plowing forward one day at a time. Thank him for everything that he gives you. And just keep praying. You guys are doing awesome out there. You guys are really fighting hard. Okay, we're getting down to the nitty gritty. See it. You can tell. So just hold on tight. Keep your faith. Keep your head up. And whoa, computer wanted to black out already. Come back here. Oh, it doesn't want me to finish. Oh, there we go. All right. Anyways, have courage. It's real images. Hour-long thing that happened turned into a lion face with a crown over it. 2,000-year-old prophecy come true. All your faith is going to be paid. It's going to pay off here pretty soon. So I think that's it for tonight. I love you all. I miss you all. God bless you all. And until my next show, I'll be back. I'm already back. Can't you tell? We gotta unplug to turn it off. All right. Love you all. God bless.